Roseau County has become the first county in Minnesota to become a Second Amendment sanctuary. They're calling their resolution a Second Amendment dedicated county resolution. Basically, they wouldn't prosecute or enforce any gun laws they deem as unconstitutional. Reading from their resolution, quote, whereas the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And whereas the United States Supreme Court in the District of Columbia versus Heller affirmed an individual right to possess firearms unconnected with service in a militia for traditionally lawful purposes such as self-defense within the home, and whereas the United Supreme Court in McDonald versus Chicago affirmed that the right of an individual to keep and bear arms as protected under the Second Amendment is incorporated by due process clause in the 14th Amendment against the states, and whereas the people of Roseau County, Minnesota derive economic benefit from all safe forms of firearm recreation, hunting and shooting conducted within Roseau County using all types of firearms allowable under the United States Constitution, and whereas certain legislation beyond existing laws to date that has or may be introduced into the Minnesota legislature in the future, and certain legislation which has or may be introduced into the United States Congress in the future, could have the effect of infringing on the rights of law-abiding citizens to keep and bear arms as guaranteed by the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. And whereas the County Board of Commissioners is concerned about the passage of any new legislation containing language which could be interpreted as infringing on the rights of citizens in Roseau County to keep and bear arms, and whereas the County Board of Commissioners wishes to express its deep commitment to the rights of all citizens of Roseau County to keep and bear arms, and whereas the County Board of Commissioners wishes to express opposition to any law in the future beyond existing laws to date that would unconstitutionally restrict the rights of citizens of Roseau County to keep and bear arms, and whereas the County Board of Commissioners wishes to express its intent to stand as a county dedicated to the Second Amendment's rights and oppose, within the limits of the Constitution of the United States and state of Minnesota, any efforts in the future to unconstitutionally restrict such rights and to use legal means at its disposal to protect the rights of the citizens of Roseau County to keep and bear arms, including through legal action, the power to appropriate public funds, and the right to petition for redress of grievances. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the County Board of Commissioners of Roseau County, Minnesota, that the Roseau Board of Commissioners hereby declares Roseau County, Minnesota, a Second Amendment dedicated county, and that the Roseau Board of Commissioners hereby expresses its intent to uphold the Second Amendment rights of the citizens of Roseau County, Minnesota, and that the Roseau Board of Commissioners hereby expresses its intent that public funds of the county not be used to restrict the Second Amendment rights of the citizens of Roseau County, and or to aid federal or state agencies in restriction of said rights, and that the Roseau Board of Commissioners hereby declares its intent to oppose any infringement on the right of law-abiding citizens to keep and bear arms, such as using such legal means as may be expedient, including without limitation of court action. Again, that's from the Roseau Board of County Commissioners, who today became the first county in Minnesota passing a Second Amendment sanctuary resolution, theirs being called Second Amendment Dedicated County Resolution. I'm Neil Carlson reporting for iNews.TV.